God, how I hate this song. Someone asked me if I was going to bust out the good alcohol for this, but the truth is, it's the end of the month, so I'm not gonna buy good alcohol. Hi, hello, how's it going? It's Lo. Today, we're gonna talk about how my patrons hate me, and they made me read LIGHTLARK. Yes, LIGHTLARK, of TikTok fame for being bad. My patrons were like, I wonder how bad is it? And then they were like, I'm gonna make Lou suffer through it. If you want to be able to inflict me some pain, my Patreon is in the description below. Every 2 months or so, I'm still fiddling around with the dates. You can pick a book that is going to make me question my own sanity. So if you're into that sort of stuff, whatever, I don't. LIGHTLARK, I can't even words. LIGHTLARK after. Nah. Anyway, for this month, the choice was none other than LIGHTLARK. Alex Astor's book, TikTok darling book, or hated book, depending on where you go. But the point is, I'm not gonna go too in-depth about all the Alex Astor's controversies because ain't nobody got time, so all of you should go give Rachel a follow and a watch and a view because she's amazing, she's my best friend, and I love her. To sum it up, though, Alex Astor is this poor little rich girl who kept telling her sob story on TikTok, how her book kept being rejected, and then she was rejected 16 times, and now someone picked her book, and now she's a bestseller, is in a Forbes 30 under 30, yada 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 yada. What do I care? Apparently, this book, LIGHTLARK, is the passion of her life, the reason why she breathes, the reason why she finds meaningful existence in her life. Was it worth it? I think it was for her. She's a millionaire and I'm not. Was it worth it for me reading this? In the words of Lana Del Rey, I wish I was dead. Anyways, let's read the synopsis together on my new tablet. This is so good. I should have gotten one way sooner, but let's read together, shall we? Every 100 years, the island of LIGHTLARK appears to host the Centennial, a deadly game that only the rulers of the 6 realms are invited to play. The invitation is a summons, a call to embrace victory and ruin, baubles and blood. The Centennial offers the 6 rulers one final chance to break the curses that have plagued their realm for centuries. Each ruler has something to hide. Each realm's curse is uniquely wicked. To destroy the curses, one ruler must die. Isla Crown is the ruler of the Wildling, a realm of temptresses cursed to kill anyone they fall in love with. They are feared and despised, and they are counting on Isla to end their suffering by succeeding at the Centennial. To survive, Isla must lie, cheat, and betray, even as love complicates everything, and so is my alarm clock. Why do you have an alarm clock for 6 p.m.? Because I need to remind myself to take the trash out, because I have ADHD, and I don't remember, so, you know. ADHD tips and tricks for Lou. Use alarm clocks for literally everything. Where were we? To survive, Isla must lie, cheat, and betray, even as love complicates everything. Filled with secrets, deception, romance, and twists worthy of the darkest thrillers, LIGHTLARK is a must-read for fans of legendary fantasy writers Mary Lou, Marissa Meyer, and Leigh Bardugo. Yeah, she is. We follow this girl called Isla Crown. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Listen, English is my second language, and I taught myself how to speak it. You guys are asking too much. Half of these names make absolutely no fucking sense. Anyway, she's called Isla Crown because she's going to hold the crown of all the Isles in the end, as we all know. Or we weren't supposed to know, but this book is about as subtle as an elephant walking into a glass store. She rules this land called Wildling, but she has no powers unlike everyone else in this land. So she goes to this thing called Centennial. This is one of those books where I'm like, am I stupid? Or is this book not making any sense? Because like I keep gaslighting myself, because again, since English is my second language, I always chalk it up for me being like, oh, maybe I'm not getting the intricacies of the language and I'm not getting it. And then I ask people who speak English as a mother tongue and they're like, no, this book makes no fucking sense. And then I know, I'm not stupid. I just have 2 eyeballs and I'm able to read. So, you know, this is me, a PhD candidate, wondering if I'm stupid because I'm reading YA books half-assed written by a TikTok star. Because here's the thing about LIGHTLARK. Alex Astor had War of Hearts by Ruel on repeat, a MacBook, and a dream. And by God, she wrote all of the words, all of the many words, all of many unnecessary words to this book. And by God, I read them all. Are they good words? No, they're not. LIGHTLARK is where the American dream goes to die. It's an ode to the futility of believing in meritocracy. It's an homage to the mediocrity, the inherent mediocrity of the ruling class. If this book doesn't make you want to start a socialist revolution, I don't know what else will. I was already a communist. This book radicalized me. LIGHTLARK is not my 13th reason because I read Silkfire this year, but by sure goddamn, it is the 12th. This is what happens. Here, listen. This is what happens when you take a child every single weekend to Disney World, okay? That child will grow up watching Wishes, the fireworks show, and they will listen to Jiminy Cricket going, all your wishes will come true, and they start to believing it. I, however, was born in a middle-class family in Latin America, and my dad was a Marxist. Still is. My dad is not dead. But the point is, I was learning to sing USSR war songs in Russian when I was about her age, so when she started writing. So we're not the same. This is not a joke, actually. I can sing some war songs of the USSR relatively well. Thanks, Dad. Anyway, point is, Alex Astor's Republican parents, one of which, by the way, looks uncomfortably like Guy Fieri, told her that if she pulled herself by her bootstraps and worked really hard, she would be whatever she wanted to be. And then when they faced the reality that she just wasn't good enough to do what she wanted to do, they decided to throw money at it and hope that it worked. And it did. It worked out for her. But literature as a whole has died a little as a consequence. And look, maybe I'm being too mean to the girl, because the girl's barely out of her teens as far as I'm aware, but it's just very annoying to me that this girl can go like, I'm Latina for diversity points, and actual books by actual Latin American people are not getting a 10th of the recognition that this book is getting. And so actual good people who are Latina and Latini and don't just inhabit the identity when it's convenient, they are getting passed by publishing and by the community. And instead, books like LIGHTLARK are being picked up and being hailed as this thing, despite their mediocrity. Because this book is mediocre. But anyways, we're gonna get to that. And before someone's like, then why are you not talking about these books? I have so many videos talking about these books. So many. So many. The search bar is your fucking friend. So go look for them. So many videos talking about my favorite books by Latinx authors. You will feel free to go there and search for them. Okay? Okay. Anyways, let's go to the book. I'm gonna open my notes for this, which I'm not even really able to follow my notes with this one because it's just a recollection of moments. So first things first, Isla is the world's stupidest main character. And I've read the selection. The dumbassery in the selection is as follows. There is this girl who is not a feminist, but she willingly forsakes a sugar daddy, which is stupid. If someone offered to be my sugar daddy, I'd forsake feminism in this exact moment. You'd be like, I'm gonna give you as many dresses as you like and you can live free and in this castle with everything that you could ever wish for brought to you and your family will be taken care of. The feminism would evaporate from my body like water in the Brazilian sun. That's how quickly I would take a sugar daddy. Like, the feminism would run away from me like my will to live has run after finishing LIGHTLARK. So that's the dumbassery and the stupidity that exists in the selection. But Isla's stupidity is way worse. Because she never does any fucking thing proper. Like, she never understands glaringly obvious clues about anything. She's just floating uselessly, aimlessly around this book and things are happening. Or not. I don't really know. I can't really tell. But sometimes things happen in this book. And she's like, either unaware of them or aware of them and just actively making things work. She's so stupid. I know that she's supposed to be this badass bitch. I don't know. But she's just so inept at everything. And I was just like, how can you be so fucking dumb? Listen to this. Let's open the book and look at the best moments from Isla Dumbass Crown. Chapter 3. She falls off her balcony. For what reason, I'm not sure. It was never really explained why she had to almost have a near-death experience, except to set up the fact that she's stupid as fuck. I don't know. That she has no balance. I don't know. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Like, why would she fall off a balcony? What's the fucking point of this? Then, like, someone in the book tells everyone else her biggest secret, which is that she has no powers. And then the person comes back and is like, sorry, gotta do what I gotta do. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Just don't do it again. Which is like, you could have died, motherfucker. What? None of Isla's decisions ever make any fucking sense. And I say this as a person who makes very ununderstandable decisions every once in a while. None of her decisions make any sense. None of her decisions are coherent with her character because she doesn't have one. Okay? She's just this bland self-insert character that exists for Alex Astor to project her things upon. But she doesn't have any sort of coherent need or fear or whatever. Like, she's just nothing. She's a blob. She's a pretty blob, allegedly. Like, there's nothing there. She's just like that all that fucking time. And I'm reminded of that one Taylor Swift song where she says, how long will it be cute? All this crying in my room, when you can blame it on my youth and roll your eyes with affection. I feel like this song really captures what I think is the feeling that I have with Isla in this book, which is she's just trying to have this character have flaws, but what she ended up doing was creating a character that was inconsistent and could never execute any part of her plan right, and all of her failings are supposed to be cute and cutesy and whatever. It is just infuriating because I can't root for a main character that never really fucking does anything right and never really has any, like, she has nothing going on for her. She has no needs of her own. She has no desires of her own. She's just a wishy-washy character, which tells me that Alex Astor lacks so much writing talent that she can't even write a Mary Sue properly. And like, I feel like all of her constant failings were supposed to make her likable as a character, but they didn't. They just made me infuriated at this girl because I didn't know what to root for, which actually takes me to my next point, the world building, which is non-existent. Like, what world building? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like, the Centennial is this competition-ish where they have to break curses, but like, instead of trying to break the curse, they keep doing like demonstrations of their own powers. And like, almost like this fantasy version of a PowerPoint night, except it's just more ridiculous. Let me read an excerpt. Demonstrations were opportunities for rulers to assess each other, to decide who was weak, to potentially win the power to choose the pairs that would work for the remainder of the Centennial to figure out the rest of the prophecy. None of this makes any sense. None of this makes any sense. Why would they work in pairs if they have to work together to break this curse? How would this exactly help the curse? Because they're showing off to the local population, and the local population is voting on who wins these demonstrations, and it's like, what's the point? So what does this have to do with any of the curses? What, like, can you see, like, all of the things that were done in this book apparently were done not because they were good ideas, but because they felt cool in the moment to do. I don't know. People have described this book as cinematic. This is like the Shadowhunter series. And Shadowhunters, the books, are not even good. The series, oh boy. Oh boy. Will I get the Cassie Clare lovers in my comments? Maybe. I don't really care though. Because y'all people who are okay with incest cannot get to me. Speaking of pairs, by the way, you guessed it, there is a love triangle between Rhysand and Tamlin. Or how they're called here, Grimm and Oro. There's this plot line here where it's very clearly going the way where Sarah J. Mistake went with Akotar. And I just want to know, like, what sort of magic did Sarah J. Maas had done just to have the girlies by the throat like this? Because, like, every single YA character that I've read in the recent month or so had a character that was like Rhysand or like Tamlin or like both, and the same structure of narration that is used with both Tamlin and Rhysand, like that whole you get with one first and then you get to the other because the first one was a piece of shit. This is exactly where this book is going. I'm not like this is just what's gonna happen. So it's like every single book, Lightlark included, has discount Rhysand, discount Tamlin, and discount Feyre, which is just so fucking annoying because Aegotar is not even that good to begin with. So we can have all of these discount characters that I don't fucking care about. But at least I will have to say, Aegotar had some internal consistency. Lightlark does not have that. Because see, the rules of the Centennial. There's this meme in Brazil that is this sign that says it's forbidden to dance together, but if you can, if you want to. And this is exactly the rules of the Centennial. Like, you have to attend the Centennial, but you can also not attend the Centennial. You can't kill other rulers, but also you can't kill other rulers, which, by the way, goes against the prophecy itself, because if everyone dies, then all of their power dies with them, because, and this is the third rule, they're not allowed to have heirs. Because they need to be able to sacrifice their own kingdom with them. And I'm like, clearly people had heirs in this time. One of the curses of one of the realms is like no one is older than 25. And so they clearly have kids. At a certain point, they have kids. And so she was making stuff up as she went. And so the world has nothing of cohesive. There's nothing of structure in this world that makes me understand exactly what she was doing. And it's like this book had such different tones to it. It was so weird because it was like, I could see that it was written roughly by the same person, but there were some parts that seemed so disjointed from other parts that I'm like, is this the same person who wrote everything together? Because it doesn't sound cohesive. And there's a shift of tone, of personalities of the characters from one way to another without any other explanation. Like, there is no explanation on why the king suddenly starts to have an interest in her, starts treating her nicely. There's no explanation on any of those. It's just like, it seems like different people came together and wrote this book at a certain point, which wouldn't surprise me if we found that out. I don't think that she has a grasp on her own lore. I don't know. It's just so out of place. And like, listen, we're not even getting to the writing, because the writing in this, oh my god. I could sit here and spend my entire evening and your entire evening reading excerpts of this book, and we could laugh of them together. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read one excerpt out of this book. And you decide if this is good writing or not. Please know this is the climax of the book, okay? Let's see if I can keep a straight face. Is that an egg? She asked. Just as the words left her mouth, the egg fell. Slowly, too slowly, it plunged to the ground and cracked open. From its shell emerged a shining gold yolk. It rose from the ground in tandem with the sun rising from the horizon, just across the cliff. The full egg represented the moon, she said, her voice hoarse from singing. The yolk is the sun. How many times has she thought that the full moon looked like an egg, that the sun looked yolky? She turned to Otto, eyes wide. That's it, she said. That's the heart. The heart blooms and becomes part of Lightlark. Otto had presumed it was a plant, but this time the heart had returned as the very basis of life. An egg. Oh god, when I read this the first time. Oh, Jesus, when I read this the first time, I was losing an egg. Lightlark is literally that one meme of Danny DeVito going,
"I offer you a nice egg in this trying time."
Yeah, he's got an egg, you might...
And like, this is the climax of the book. There's just so many other moments where the writing is just atrocious. Like, there is this moment where she says, that the island is flaking into the ocean like a pastry. And I'm like, yes, a particularly good empanada the island is. I am like 100% sure that she was writing this and she was like, I got this. I got them. I got them. Like I did it something that is so good and revolutionary that no one will know. Um it's like I know that she was thinking that. And in fact, she was talking about an egg. She was comparing the heart of the island to an egg yolk. Were you hungry, baby? Were you needing something to eat? Did you want someone to make you an egg sandwich? Could we have averted all of this if McDonald's served breakfast food until later in the evening? Questions that I want the answer for. Also, I just want to think, she was rejected 16 times, which makes a lot of sense, but I want to know who the fuck looked at this and thought, yes, egg yolks as a metaphor for life. That's exactly what I want in my portfolio. And like, if I stop to think about it properly, I just get so angry. I just get so angry. Cause like, this is a woman using her Latina identity when it suits her. When there are so many Latino writers and Latin American writers who really, really, really want the opportunity and are never given one. She has an entertainment lawyer. She says so in her acknowledgments, like, thanks to my entertainment lawyer. Which fucking writer has an entertainment lawyer? Like, what? The level of nepotism that this is into, like, this nepo baby has gone too far. And she's leaning into this woman of color identity so hard when it suits her. And I'm like, just let me tell you guys something. White Latinos exist. And even white Latinos can be mixed race. There's no, like, that's not how it works in Latin America. And that's so just fucking infuriating because she doesn't do anything for the community. She doesn't do anything for the stigmas. She doesn't do anything for the actual conversations, the actual hard conversations that exist around the Latino community. But she's happy enough to be included in Latino writing lists when it suits her. When actual Latinas and Latin American people are struggling to get a tenth of the attention that she has. And listen, this is on the book community. The fact that LIGHTLARK comes to light and came to life and is a book that is being sold and terrorizing people out there is also the fault of the book community. Because whenever you guys are like, oh, I want Latinx writers, but US only calls, you are excluding people, actual Latin American people, writing stories that deserve to be told, but you're inviting in the Alex Astors. The book community, and I've said this so many times, has this problem when they're concerned with appearing instead of actually being. And so when they do calls for diversity, they don't do calls for diversity that are actually thought through. They do calls for diversity because they want to seem woke. They want to seem like the most virtual signaling person that ever existed. It's for virtual signaling. And it's just so fucking infuriating. And I said this before, that we are passing good stories in order to fill quotas of diversity that serve no purpose. Especially when the majority of the book community is guilty of that bookish aesthetic that I hate so fucking much. It's like that whole thing of, I'm just curling up with my books because I'm so special and I'm not like other girls. I like to read and I don't like to mingle and I just like my books so much. But instead of understanding that diversity is a means to an end, that we ask for diverse stories to bridge gaps between understandings, so we can read about other realities, so we can understand what other people go through, so we can help and aid in the liberation. I've said this so many times. Books are not just an aesthetic hobby. Books are inherently revolutionary. And so when you are just here for the aesthetics of it, when you are just here for the oh, cutesy part of it, it's just so demeaning because then a book like LIGHTLARK fits the bill. It's a book that you can virtually say is Latinx written, but it doesn't engage with the community. It doesn't help the community. It doesn't aid the community. It does nothing for the community. So what's the point of having it in your TBR as a diverse read? So in the end, books like LIGHTLARK are that genre of books that you can say, oh, I've read this book by a diverse author, so now I get to read as much as Salad J Mistakes books that I can cram into the year again, instead of actually picking books that would be challenging to read and that would challenge my own preconceived ideas of the world. The only Latinx themes that Alex Astor engages on, barely might I add, is when she talks about the wildlings being temptresses, which I'm not even going to address the association of Latin American people with the jungle and wild animals because, listen, Argentina just won the World Cup, all right? All of the racism is just very fresh in my mind. I don't want to talk about it. But it's just so weird because all the time she's like, oh, we're the temptresses. They say that we eat hearts. They say that we're so evil. They say that we just exist to tempt men into becoming our prey. But she never says that that is not the case. She's always like, yeah, that's actually the case. And so there's this one part. Wait a second. They were wildlings. Their group left your realm long before even the curses. They had already renounced their power, so their kind wasn't affected. So they ate hearts in the flesh out of desire, not because of a curse. She shuddered. There was so much about the wildlings she didn't know. Excuse me? Like, she's really all the time, she's just always saying about her own people without ever explaining it, in fact. Without ever explaining why are they so evil. All the time she's just like, oh, we're monsters, we're so evil, we're so disgusting, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, do you think so badly of your own heritage like that? Like, do you hate being half Latina this much that all you can think about is just how savages we are? This book is just high-end mediocrity packaged to sell on a 60-second TikTok video without adding anything of substance. This is written by a sheltered author who has never heard a no in her life, and had enough connections to make this book happen, and had enough money that her daddy had in order to throw at people to make this book happen. And this book talk community, especially, but the booktube community as well, is sort of falling head over heels with it. This book has a 4.3 rating on Goodreads. Oh? Because, again, there is no substance. It's a book that you can say it's diverse, quote marks, there's only one black person in the book and the person dies as far as I'm concerned. As far as I get it. Like, I don't know if that's the case, because I couldn't understand the scene. But this book is diverse. And people can say that this book is diverse without actually engaging with difficult themes that reading diversely will invariably bring to people. Because if you had to understand the sexualization of Latinx women, that would force you to face your preconceived stereotypes about Latina women, force you to understand just how difficult it is for us to be consistently sexualized, how difficult it is for us to be put in harm's way because of how sexualized we are, the harassment, the sexual importunation, the sexual abuse, the assault, all of those things that happen to us as Latinas because of this hypersexualization of our bodies. And she never discusses that. She never discusses the colonization. She never discusses the expropriation of our natural resources. She never discusses anything but the fact that she thinks that we're all monsters. Excuse me? This is the book version of a TikTok aesthetic video with War of Hearts in the background. And that's all fun and games, but that does not make a story. And listen, I was willing to give her a pass. I was like, bro, you guys read the selection and you feel so nostalgic for it. Maybe this book came in about 10 years too late, and maybe 10 years ago this would be all the rage. But no, this is a book that was written with the least amount of effort possible to maximize the amount of reward for it. And there is very little that annoys me more in life than lazy writing. I hate lazy writing. I think that if you're gonna write half-ass a book, then don't even start to begin with. And this is lazy writing at its peak. And you know why? Because she knew that she didn't actually have to be good, because daddy would just throw money at it and people would bend over backwards in order to get her to do what she wanted. Because this is how those people work. I cannot even stress you just how many white Latinas like Alex Esther I know in this world that are exactly like that. They think they're so entitled to everything, that they're so entitled to be waited on hand and foot by people. And when things don't go their way, they throw a massive tantrum. And not only that, they are the only ones that I know of that are able and capable of turning that into a sob story about how they always tried so hard, but no one ever paid attention to them until someone took a chance and now they're a self-made millionaire. You're not. If it wasn't for your daddy and your connections, none of this would have happened. And publishing is pretty much okay with this because this is easy money. So instead of actually paying their employers a fair wage and ensuring diversity in the editor's room and in publishing to make sure that more diverse stories are picked and sold, no, they're okay with this prepackaged, plastic, TikTok-ish, manufactured of book, which is a mixed match of different writing styles together and almost looks like it was written by a stupid AI. And they're okay with this, but they're not okay with paying their workers a living wage. And so instead of sitting here and talking about what I really want to talk about, which is Babel, which I'm like halfway through and I just have so much to discuss, I can't because HarperCollins is on strike and I am not crossing the picket line. Instead of actually putting the work and the effort on things that make sense and things that are important, publishing feels like it's less work. It's also lazy enough to believe in works like this, like LIGHTLARK, which make absolutely no fucking sense. The yolk thing? Describing the sun as a fucking yolk? Guys, I mean... As we say in Brazil, é de cair o cu da bunda. So anyway, final thoughts about LIGHTLARK. What the fuck? It's awful. It's trash. Don't read it. It's disgusting. The TikTok girlies continue to not be alright. This book is a reflection of our concern as a community, and I put myself into this, our concern with aesthetics over content in both our videos, the videos that we make, but also in the books that we read. And I feel like the more that we are concerned and more that we're feeding into a social media like TikTok, which is concerned mostly with the aesthetics of things, we will end up getting trapped with books such as LIGHTLARK. We will end up continue getting stories that are more about the aesthetics of the marketing than it is about the actual writing of the book and the actual writing of the story. And it's just so jarring to me to see so many people. I saw people who liked LIGHTLARK, like not my bubble, but I've seen a lot of young teens being like, oh, I love LIGHTLARK, and a lot of them, especially the white ones, going, I didn't like Babel. Anyway, the point is, I think Alex Esther explored an opportunity that presented to her, and she took it, and good for her. But this is objectively not a good book. The main character has no appeal, the plot is flimsy, the world building sucks, whatever little world building that there is. And so this is a book that is pure marketing. It's not a good book at all. And I don't think what else people were expecting. And I think that this is what I feel more concerned about, is because I don't know exactly what people were expecting when the only way that she can talk about this book is by using tropes. And it's just like, if that's the only way that you can write a book, it's not going to be a good book. A trope doesn't make a book. It's like a trope comes after the book. You know, a trope comes after the story is already set to describe a story that already exists. And so this is a book that relies on that as a narrative style, which makes no sense and makes for a poor storytelling. And this is a book that relies on marketing in order to get itself across. But it's not good. This is not a good book. And I feel like this is a reflection of the current state of affairs, both of publishing and the book community, that this type of book can get as much traction as it did before other people who actually really deserve get the traction that it did. And I have no qualm saying stuff like that, because I know so many people who are published and who are going to be published who deserve so much of the praise that people are showering over LIGHTLARK. For real. Check Goodreads. There are people loving this book. In the comments, on her comments, people love this book. People are eating this shit up. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm a crow. Maybe I got to that age. I have a cat now, so maybe I'm an old cat lady grumpy about everything.
Ei, mamãe, esse que sono, mamãe.
Yeah, this is my opinion on LIGHTLARK. Don't read it. It's not good. And I think that LIGHTLARK, more than anything, is an alert sign for us as a community because, and I'm going to insist on this point, and I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again, we are missing the mark as a book community of what books are. And I think that books like LIGHTLARK should put up a red flag and say, we are going to a wrong place, that this book can get published and get so much traction. So with all of that out of the way, If you want to vote on which book is going to terrorize me in the foreseeable future, you can also join my Patreon below. If you like this video, you can buy me a coffee or another beer, because as always, I'm gonna need one. But anyway, yeah, this was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye!